Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of Erin's Book Club. I have another review to do, and I must say I'm really conflicted about if I like it or not. I think I like it, and I must say I'm also really nervous because it's the most hyped book I've ever done on this channel, so a little nervous. I also want to say before I get into this that this will not be a spoiler-free review, so if you have not read the book that I'm going to talk about, please stop the video, read the book, and come back to me. So the book that I'm going to review today is Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare of the Infernal Devices. It's called Book 3 of that. So there we are. And again, because it's one of the most hyped books that I've ever had to do a review on, I'm pretty sure most of you know what this is about. I've had to wait until I could afford to buy it before I could read it, so I'm really late on this train, but here we are. Anyway, I am still going to read the back of it, just so that you know what we're talking about if, like me, you haven't read the book before. Alright, so a net of shadows begins to tighten around the shadow hunters of the London Institute. Mortman plans to use his infernal devices, an army of pitiless automations, to destroy the shadow hunters. He needs only one last item to complete his plan. Tessa Gray. Charlotte Branwell, head of the London Institute, is desperate to find Mortman before he strikes. But when Mortman abducts Tessa, the boys who lay equal claim to her heart, Jem and Will do anything to save her. For though Tessa and Jem are now engaged, Will is as much in love with her as ever. As those who love Tessa rally to rescue her from Mortman's clutches, Tessa realizes that the only person who can save her is herself. But can a single girl, even one who can command the power of angels, face down an entire army? So the background of that, or the back cover of that, makes it a very exciting thing to look into. What scared me about this book was how thick it is. That being said, I really enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed the plot, and I devoured the first half of this book before I even realized what was going on. And I think that if I hadn't read the epilogue at the end of the book, I probably wouldn't be as conflicted as I am right now. Again, this is like the third book by Cassandra Clare that I have read, so I don't really know what her themes usually are. But up to this point, it has a beautifully written love triangle between Jem, Tessa, and Will. And throughout the entire book, she created Jem as being this selfless, giving person who was dying of consumption, or like a demon virus at the time, I guess, because in that day and age we didn't know what consumption was, but it sounded like consumption. And the way she described how Tessa loved both the boys and how she had struggled with Will and his harshness, but then was kind of thrown onto Jem because Will was being as harsh as he was beautiful. It was so well written. I was as conflicted as Tessa. I enjoyed it as much between the two of them. I really loved the book. And then when the author started talking about Jem being dead, I was heartbroken. But at the same time, I was entirely satisfied because Jem had given up everything he was to enjoy the last bit of life that he had with the person he loved. And it was so Jem. It was the way Jem was written. So then back when they were fighting at the end, and Jem wasn't dead, and he was trying to become one of the Silent Brothers, I was intrigued, but I don't know if disappointed's the right word. Maybe disappointed's the right word, because up to that point he was written as a selfless character, and to me, at the very last step, for him to flip-flop and decide, nope, I'm going to live, I'm going to be a silent brother, was not like his character, and at the same time I felt that was him being incredibly cruel to Tessa and Will, because he knew that both Tessa and Will would not feel right being with each other while Jem was still alive in any capacity. And I don't think either of them would have accepted as easily as she wrote that, okay, he's gone, but not gone, and we can be together. I think in the end, I would have enjoyed better Jem being dead and Will and Tessa being together, and then at the end of it, Tessa living the rest of her life alone or finding some other stranger to fall in love with. It just seemed a little bit too easy for Tessa to fall in love with Will, enjoy a complete and utter life with Will, in love with Will, witness his passing, suffer through his passing, and then still have Jem at the end of it. For me, that didn't sit right, especially for the tone of the book that I felt I was reading. So again, I think that if I hadn't read the epilogue where it says that in the end the two of them were together as well, I would have enjoyed the book more. But that's not saying that I didn't enjoy the book. The fact that it's making me think like this, the fact that it's making me feel conflicted about the ending, means that this is an amazing author. This is an author that made me believe so much that Jem was some one way, that when she does a 180 and says, nope, actually, he's just like any other human being who at the brink of death is scared and will do anything he can to avoid death. Anything. He will draw at straws to avoid death. Makes him even that more human, right? Because it's all well and good for me to sit there and say, well, no, if he's this way, he would, at the very end, he would just pass away and allow the two to be together, because that's the way he was written. However, no human being is going to sit there looking death right in the face and be like, no, I'm ready to go. Especially when that young. So, yes, I didn't like the ending, and yes, I felt that maybe it was a bit too perfect. However, in a way, it was realistic. I don't know. All in all, I really enjoyed the book, and I will look more into her books. Again, because I devoured this book in no time. I love the way she writes, and I'm becoming more and more fascinated about Cassandra, and she may quickly become one of my new favorite authors. So, all in all, really enjoyed the book, and I will let you guys know when I have another book read. Thanks, guys.